Welcome, my name's Chris and I'm back this week with another lesson for you. This is going to be on Barry Harris's scale outline idea. I've talked about this in other videos that I'll link below. Using this, I think I did it on the blues. We're going to be looking at it on the tune Autumn Leaves, and I will really be teaching you everything you need to know about scale outlines and why they're so cool to learn and why they're so helpful. I started playing these about a year ago, or maybe a couple years. I've known of Barry's method for the past 3 or 4 years, or maybe a little bit more, but I've been on a journey with it. And my depths of understanding have increased just due to familiarity and practicing these ideas and really seeing them pay off. So that's why I'm showing you this. If you want to get more into soloing, if you feel frustrated with improvisation, if you don't know how to practice improvisation or how to practice structured harmony, melody together study in time, this I think will really help you if that's what you want. So let's jump in. Number one, I've got 3 points here, and here's the form of Autumn Leaves if you need it right there, and using numbers because it's really good to practice. So I'll briefly review the chords here. This is in the key of B flat / G minor, and I'm using numbers. You'll see how that kind of switches between these two keys frequently, right? A section is 2, C minor, F7, B flat, E flat's 4, G minor now. We have a 2, 5, 1, right? And then we could do that again. C minor, F, B flat, 2, 5, 1, and B flat, 4, 2, 5, 1, and G minor. And then the B section is again 2, 5, 1, and G minor. Kind of inverts the A section, right? And then we do 2, 5, 1, and C and B flat. And then 4, just like the beginning. Some of these changes will vary depending on the lead sheet, so if yours is different, that's fine. Then we have 2, 5, 1 in G minor again, and then kind of sometimes walking down, or you might have G minor to C7, and then you have a flat 6 in G minor, E flat, approaching 5 to 1. Scale outlines, this idea is to give us a melodic way to play the harmony. So it also does a few other things. It gives us a way to hear the harmony, to hear the chord tones on the quarter notes, on the on beats, and on the and eighth note beats in between. We have these passing tones. And the very way it's structured is playing 1 to 7, going up and down a scale, but we don't play the full octave. We just stop at 7 and go back down. And we generally play these in eighth notes. So if I do the first chord, like let's do B flat major, because we're on B flat. So this would be, hopefully you know, this works on any instrument of course, but you have to know B flat major scale. And to be able to play it maybe here. I'm swinging it a little bit. That's it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. And I have on the strong beats, 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1. And on the weak beats, right, or I guess it'd be, I'm trying to think of what it'd be like if you just play the weak beats, but that's it. And this idea can be used on several chords, several types of chords, really any type of chord you can do the scale outline idea on. And there's a couple other little tricks here that Barry uses to exploit the common patterns that we see in this kind of music, and really music in general. One of those tricks I'll explain is still number 1 on 2-bar 2/5 phrases. So that's typical, right, where you have a bar of 2, bar of 5, 1. We're gonna play just the 5 outline. So over this, we're gonna play, so it'll sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, that's the idea. And those chords are kind of related, that's why that works. This is a really cool trick. The 5, 7, and 9 of F7 is C minor. That's why this kind of sounds really nice. Just one note away, one of those notes moving sounds like this chord now. So, right, there's a lot of the similar notes. They show that E flat. So that's kind of why that works. That's what we're doing there on any of the 2 5s. We can do just the 5. That means we'll be doing F7, and we'll go over 7 shape in a second. on the first two chords, we'll just play F7 outline. I just did actually, so you have to know, it's just a mixolydian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, not major 7, but flat 7. So that's what we'll play on that 2-5 at the beginning. And then on the 1 and 4, we're just playing the 1, right? And when you would play a shorter version of this, which would just be like 1 through 5, that's when like you have one measure of whatever chord, and the next measure, the chord's like really different. And the outline, if you test it, like, if you just test the first chord outline and it sounds really bad and it needs changed, you can do that. So in this case though, I think this sounds good to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Because that 1 there that I'm singing of B flat is the 5th of this. So again, it's kind of the same principle as the 2-5 idea, that they're pretty congruent. This G minor 2-5 here, this is the first minor. You could play a few things, actually, lots of stuff. So you could just play a 7 scale, and that'd be again the mixolydian. That sounds maybe a little bit too tame, so you could do a few other things. You could do a 7 but flat 2. So that'd be that note, E flat, or E goes to E flat. And then really, you could do the 6 in there, or you could do a flat 6 as well. And if you do flat 6, you're kind of getting into major Phrygian. That's what it'd be called. Flat 2, major 3rd, and then flat 6, 7. So it depends on kind of what spice level you want on your wings. In this case, this D7. There's lots of stuff you can do eventually. You could kind of get real outside the box here. You could do substitution ideas, tritone sub, or there's other substitution ideas in Barry's world. But what I would mess with is just doing maybe a 7 for now, or if you want to, you could do any of these. Like, you could even think of this as like, I'm thinking of it like B flat essentially, almost playing like D Phrygian. But I put like instead of the minor 3rd, I put the major 3rd. So it's pretty much, right? Kind of a funky little shape to that. That's not too bad, but. So that's D, E flat, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C, and then back. So it's 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, flat 6, 5, 4, 3, flat 2, 1. Okay, so you can just play 7 on that if you need to. That's fine with me. I mean, maybe make the B flat at the top. Or sorry, yeah, right, one before. I kind of like that natural 2, but flat 6 and 7. So get creative, right? But that 5 chord, the 5, that's one we can throw in the kitchen sink if we want to. We can make it real dissonant, almost unexplainably dissonant, but it resolves beautifully and everything's okay. But let's go and play through this outline idea real quick before we move on. Okay, nice and slow. So try this on your instrument if you want to with me. So again, C minor is our first chord, okay? And we're actually playing F. Be an F outlined, a B flat outline, a D7 outline of some kind. You just play D7 if you want, D mixolydian. After trying to show you melodic minor, my camera was moved, so I had to stop. But melodic minor, you'll need that as well on the tonic minor. That's like the 1 at the end of the A section at the end of the tune. You'll need that anytime you got a G minor. So that's a really good one. I really dig this as a tonic minor sound. That is just something you'll hear in the language of jazz, is the natural 6 and natural 7. Or the raised, if you're, typically we have, and those are good too, but kind of like the flat 6 and flat 7, I use more of that. You'll use that like on a dominant chord, right? Like that kind of sound. But on minor, if I've got like a C minor at the end of a tune, so those 6 and 7 are beautiful, right? They just have such color to them. So that's why we want to maybe do that melodic minor. So here's the tune. The simple scale outlines as we can. So I'll run these real quick. We'll have F7 up and down, B flat up and down, D7 and G minor. So here's the A section, okay? Let's give it a shot. So 1, 2, try it with me. 1, 2, F7, ready, Now B flat major, and we're going to the D7 next, some kind of D7. And then G minor melodic maybe. That's it, right? You do F, maybe explore your instrument, find different ways to play this. Good fingering. I'll be the stickler for all that, or not stickler, but just the reminder. And D7. Do flat 2 on there too, and then G minor. You can do Dorian here if you wanted to do, but I really dig the melodic minor. Okay, so that's the first step, and then the next section will be D7. Let's do it a little quicker now. So this is the B section. It'll be D7, G melodic minor, F7, B flat major. We've played all these right already. D7, G melodic minor, D7, G melodic minor. Pretty easy, right? So I know that's a lot, but hopefully you're intuiting some of this and you can always go back. So here's the B section. We have D7, G minor, F7, B flat. So we're playing 5-1 in G minor, 5-1 in B flat, right? Easy. And then 5-1 in G minor, a flat 6-1. So the only one that's weird is the E flat 7 at the end. Let's go and play E flat Dorian, or E flat mixolydian. And we'll kind of talk about how to resolve this more, but let's go and play E flat mixo, E flat 7, that's what I call that, E flat 7 scale. Okay, so here we go, here's the B section. Here's a D7, 1, 2, ready, and then here E flat 7, da da da, down boom boom. Nice. That's good practice to sing it too, to hear the melody over that, right? So I love this idea. I really think the scale outline idea is what the left brain part of us needs to really apprehend and acquire this kind of language and information. This is such an in-time thing, and once you realize the potency of having understanding of just laying out the harmony, like just being able to like hit all the spots you need to, you're not going to actually play any of this directly in your solos, but the information is, I think, so incredible, and you're really hearing the harmony in a deep way, and this kind of is the springboard which we can compress all this information down and have a lot of hip stuff on this first, 2 bars, instead of thinking C minor and I'm going like, and I could do that stuff. I could think F7 and I could springboard off all these notes out of my fingers, like a boom, do 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 do, or maybe. And I'm finding all this kind of leading, and I don't know, it's just so much easier to not have to think about static vertical chords. It's more thinking horizontally, like the chord falls over. Also, 2 measures tend to work together here really well in these kinds of 4th style progressions you see in like the American Songbook. Sometimes you might want to alter the last note, often to reflect the next harmony, and it's often like the flat 6 to 5 is a perfect example, and also going back like a G minor to F7. We could do that as well, and I think once you hear it, it really clicks. The part that you'll really hear it is like G minor, G melodic minor. And listen to this. And like I could play B, and I could reflect this kind of leading to the C minor again. even though we're playing F7. But the main time that you really need this in this tune is flat 6 to 5. So if I play E flat 7, and now I'm on the D right here, and if I just fix this and go up a half step, that's the F sharp. So I'll try to practice singing that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. That's hard, right? But it kind of works, right? That gives us that release, or that kind of, right? And then, so that's altering the last note. Just listen for that when you're playing with these, and you can use backing tracks, of course. You'll quickly, hopefully, not need to as much. Nothing against backing tracks, but I've found a lot of freedom with these. Really hearing it's putting my head through the changes in a really melodic way, if that makes sense. And again, the more you get these down and have them in multiple spots, and then you can do more exact things. You can do thirds. Right, so on F7, B flat. Right, and all that stuff is really good language of the direction, half step below each one. Right, it's so good. So it's just endless. There's endless stuff we can do. And Chris Parks and Thomas Eccles, their Barry channels are really good about teaching all the endless things. I'll have to link them to every Barry Harris adjacent video because I've learned so much from those guys. So trying to give it back. I'll finish off with this last point. Multiple options for some of these harmonies, especially 5 chords and minor 1 chords. I find there's the most. The scale outline idea could be applied to more modal stuff, Lydian. It's really endless. It works great for 7-note scales because everything's really even. But I was going to mention, there's a couple scales here. So we've talked about G melodic minor, which is, I would say, the most melodic minor popular scale, right? It's extremely common on tonic minor sounds. And that's kind of a dividing line I see between like more beginner jazz musicians who play minor 7 a lot. Minor 7's a nice, beautiful sonority, but it doesn't have the staying power of this. Like the kind of, I don't know, something about this sound of, this is the, instead of this minor 7. A little bit too stable, and that can be beautiful too, right? Like this, if I was playing a 2-5-1 and going like, if I play A minor 7 as A minor major 7, it's quite a lot of spice, maybe too much too soon. Or here's A minor 6, which A minor 6 has the third of D, which is kind of takes its thunder. So what if I go A minor 7, and then D7 with some additions, and then here G major. What was I was going to do? Or let's say I do G minor. So I go. That sound, or 7, 6, right? It really just, it's like noir or something, right? It really puts us in that world. Okay, so that is, melodic minor is really, really common. Harmonic minor can be cool. So that would just exchange the lower 6 for flat. So this sound, like I can see that, any note is cool once you know how to handle them. Right, then it's like almost silly to talk about what scale on this chord. It's like, yeah, there's so many options. You could sell any note. Miles Davis could sell any note, but you can too. I believe in you. You could play, an A. I could be on a G, and I could be playing outside idea A flat over that. Right, that could be really nice. So you can kind of get really outside with intention. You can kind of sell anything. G Dorian. I would say the F kind of bothers me the most. I just miss this. Yeah, it's okay. right? It could be cool, especially more modern sounds that are not quite as pointing as traditional sounds, which have this kind of old school, really clarity to them, or pull. You know, when I'm going like, playing a lot of this more bebop language, going like, right, all that kind of stuff there's a lot of leading tones in there, and I'm really pointing our ear, or trying to point the ear. It's not quite as obscure as going like, right, something like that, or like more rhythmically obscure, more tonally obscure, and that can be cool. Of course, that's its own thing. So it's nice to be able to mess with these different options to get different things that you feel are appropriate. G diminished scale even, so there's a couple of those. There's a half whole and whole half. This is getting a little bit more theoretical than I'd like, but look into those. Those can be really cool, because that you can interpret that G minor as a big actual G7 flat 9, like a G, you know, altered kind of G sound to get to the C minor. So you can kind of just override that if you wanted to. You could play the I guess whole half is what I play the most. So I think of it as like 1, 2, 3 of all these diminished points put together in a scale. 1, 2, 3, 1. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Like you're playing a bunch of minor third, you know, minor 1, 2, 3 on top of one another. Right, so a couple ways to think of it. And I need to work on that more myself, but that could be a really hip sound. The other one would be half whole. Now you're playing kind of Phrygian idea. That one's really cool. I don't play these enough. I don't have them on my fingers. So it goes to show you too, there's so many kinds of dialects of things we could say here and play that there are times, there are ideas that are just going to be foreign to anybody. Not everyone can know and be comfortable with all this stuff, though some have come pretty darn close. So finally, 8-note scales. This is when they kind of breaks down on the outline, but nonetheless can be cool to look into. So you could go like an 8-note scale, traditionally bebop, major, people kind of teach, there's this idea, which is really, I think more Barry does a better job with adding a note to a scale, all his 4 scales of chords, which is another lesson, and lots of lessons already on that. But this is just thinking about, what if I play natural minor, and I'll play G minor, but what if I add a note in between maybe 7 and 1? Or I could even add between 4 and 5. I really dig the 7 and 1 though, a lot, right? You kind of get the best of both worlds. I feel like I heard that language a lot in the like late 40s, mid 40s. Stuff like that, right? So, okay, that's some stuff you can mess with, but that, of course, wouldn't work with our 7-note up and down. The beauty to this is really deep, because having those 2-bar phrases in a space, it gives you a space to switch. And once you start to get them down, you can get them, of course, quicker. I'll try one time a little bit quicker to kind of wrap this lesson up here, and also talk about a little bit other ways to look into practicing them. Okay, so here's the whole tune. We haven't done this yet, I don't think. We're gonna play the whole form. So again, we're gonna do F7, B flat, so 5 and 1 of B flat, 5 and 1 of G minor, D7, G minor. So really think 5, 1, 5, 1. We do that again. So we do F7, B flat, D7, G minor. Bridge is, what is it? D7, G minor, so 5, 1 of G minor, 5, 1 of B flat, F to B flat, and then 5, 1 of G minor again, and then flat 6, maybe with an alteration on the end, we'll play F sharp for the D7, and then flat 6 we're playing 7, and then G minor. Okay, let's give it a shot. And I'll help you with the things. We might even do it 2 times. Why not? That wouldn't kill us, would it? So let's give it a shot. 2, 3, Now B flat and. Now D7. G minor. F7. Now repeat. Then D7, G minor, and now back to D7, hit bridge, F7 now, D7, and then G minor, try to sing if you can, and D7 again. Oh no, my bad. E flat 7 right there. Ready? Same thing. F. Try to get it off your eyes off of it. Right. Of course, you can go slower. A really good way to learn your instrument and get good feel with the 8th note line. And I don't do it like this much usually with tunes, but I'm trying to get in my fingers and get my fingers to be able to play this and to kind of automate my understanding of the changes. And it's a good technique thing too, right? And an E flat 7 here. Actually, let's try that with D7 too. It might be kind of funky, but you could mess with that sometimes where you play another chord in the measure as the whole measure outline. So this is extremely flexible, but I don't want to go too much longer. I will talk more about scale outlines. I hope that I kind of demonstrated how you want them in your fingers here though. This is such a good idea. Like I play in a jazz band and I play drums, and I hope that my people in that band can like study this eventually, like study the scale outline idea, because you know, this is how we develop our own language and really know the harmony, especially if we play a horn. Knowing the 3rd and 7th and 9th, all that, like you need all the help you can get. And by playing 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm really hearing the harmony, and I could go through tunes really systematically. Like when I go to play, here's a minor, D7, G7, F, E flat, D7, G minor, here's D7, F7, D7, melodic minor, right? Or I could do I was trying to play the diminished, which is, I need to work on that. And I think there's a hack for that altered. You could think of a half step above melodic minor. So A flat melodic minor is the same as G altered. So if I played that, I would get like which is really hip. So you could do that too. But hopefully you understand how the scale outline kind of really streamlines things. And it's something anybody can do. If you can play major scale, if you can play time, You can do this, and you can make it work for any chord. Again, this is just kind of jump starting our process of understanding, and when you go to play, you'll find all that stuff's a lot more in your fingers, and you just know the harmony like really deeply. I think that's a big thing here. We can't be thinking about the harmony when we're playing, right? We have to compress this, compress the data down, give it to your body, and it's amazing how effortlessly you just start playing lines. Right, and this is really, I love the compression here of going like F7 immediately. I'm thinking like, so I've got, you know, and on F7 I can think B7, because that's a tritone sub, and I got that on my fingers. So I could go, you know, C. That's B flat, or B to B flat, or maybe that's a B7, the top of B7. So I could go and then, or I should have led there, right? So it's just endless. It's really such a great method, and we're just scratching the surface here. But knowing the power of it and getting it in your fingers, guitarist, I would definitely alternate pick. If you play piano, I would probably play shell chords in your left hand, or mark the harmony in your left hand, and then your right hand can play these outlines, and, or you know, the go up and down. And then you could switch it. Your left hand can play the outline, and your right hand can comp. So it's really endless. And if you play horn, this is great too. Good articulation, good feel, swung eighth notes, trying to get, you know, these lines to really sit well, to kind of develop some nuance to our sound. So hopefully this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I will be back with more lessons. I really dig the scale outline idea. I'll be providing just scale outlines of different tunes. So not every tune works like this, but many of them do, and tunes like Have You Met Miss Jones, All the Things You Are, Autumn Leaves, of course, How High the Moon, Joy Spring, tunes like that really benefit from this. Even Latin tunes, even modern tunes, you could kind of get away with it in different ways in like giant steps and stuff. So I'll be back with more lessons, and check back every Wednesday. That's the day I'll be publishing things, and I will see you soon. Thanks.